Hello and good morning, everyone. To provide some assistance to you in the homework this week, I've picked problem 7-13 to give you a brief overview. As you can see from the problem, we're considering a new product launch. The project will cost $1,600,000 and have a 4-year life and have zero salvage value at the end. Depreciation is a straight line to zero then. Sales are projected to be 160 units per year at a price of $20,000 per unit, where a variable cost is $11,500 and fixed cost $470. We have a 15% discount rate and a relevant tax rate of 35%. In the first requirement, we are asked to have a 10% increase or decrease in certain items. Unit cost, variable cost, and fixed cost will fluctuate by that 10%. Therefore, in this Google spreadsheet, what I've done is build two columns, one for the upper, one for the lower, and varied the base items that are subject to change by the 10% increase or 10% decrease. For example, if you take 160,000 units per year and multiply it by 1.10, you will get 176 units. I apologize, I did not change the item to reflect non-dollar here. The lower limit, on the other hand, is 160 units times the 90%, or 144 units. I did this same type of calculation for both variable and fixed costs, and I've laid those out here for you. Once I had the upper and lower limits, I then focused on doing the net present value calculations for the base information. We started out with 160 units, that's the base. We also had variable cost of 11,500 as a base, 470,000 as a fixed cost, and our sales of $20,000 per unit. What I've done here is I've taken and looked at the contribution margin for each. 20,000 minus 11,500 will give me the contribution margin times the 160 units base minus the fixed cost of 470 multiplied by the after-tax rate, 1 minus the 35%, and then added back to that the depreciation shield. This gave me an operating cash flow base of $718,500 per year. To help me visualize this, I've laid it out in the time frame that we have for the project. Year 0, or the initial investment, is $1,600,000, and then following cash flows of $718,500 for the next 4 years. When I run the cash flows in ins and outs through my financial calculator, you will notice I get $451,301.95 at a 15% discount rate. I reflected that item below the visual aid. You will do very similar work for the best case and worst case scenarios here. For example, if I wanted to run the operating cash flow at a worst case scenario, I would use 144 units sold at a variable cost of $12,650 per unit and a fixed cost overall of $517. Using a very similar format, I will come up with the operating cash flow base. Once I have that operating cash flow base, then I can plug it into a visual aid similar to this, run the numbers on those cash flows, and come up with the net present value based on a worst case scenario. Then I would go to the best case scenario and compare the base with the worst and also the best. I hope that this short video helps in understanding how I approach this problem, and I would encourage you to set it up very similar to this, either in Google Sheets or Excel, and use your financial calculators to run the calculations. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.